Ladies and gentlemen, Stationeers has gotten its biggest update ever, the terrain update, and it looks awesome. Now, that means that I'm back? Yes, you betcha. And in this episode, I'm gonna be teaching you how to get a fantastic start in 20 minutes if you're a beginner. So, roll the credits, let's get right in. So we begin at the Stationeers home menu. I'm gonna go with the new world, we're gonna go to Mars, we're gonna go with the default canyon, and we are gonna go with the normal difficulty and a normal start. Because I assume that's a lot what you guys will be starting who are just starting. And you start immediately in the capsule. You have helper hints under the F2 menu, but I've played this game so many times, I'm just gonna go through it and I'm gonna teach you the important stuff. So, the moment you get out of your capsule, the sun is just rising and it's morning. My advice, first thing you should do, you should swap in the 4 you have a backpack belt, you should swap it for a mining belt, which is under the menu 6. Now, under the menu 6, when you press it, you open the mining belt and you pick up this mining tool. You press F to get it into your hands, and then you can press right click to start using it. If you press the right click, it will turn itself on. The reason why I'm telling you, because time is short and we want to be harvesting a few materials while it's daylight. The materials that we're looking for are iron, copper, and gold. Yes. With the addition, if we can find a little bit of coal and a little bit of silicone. Now, you don't need a lot, and we will probably not even gonna use it right now, but coal is important because it is a secondary power source. It can be converted into electricity just in case you find yourself in a tight spot. The second material which we're gonna gather is, I think, the iron. The iron is a main building block of pretty much everything, and you're gonna need a lot of it. So without further ado, we're gonna be collecting a stack. I mean, you will need a lot more, but for the time being, one stack should be more than enough to get you through the initial rush. And you just left click the tool, and while it's going, and you can just continue with it. Right, okay, I actually might go even with the 2 stacks because, well, it gets consumed at an alarming rate. The next thing we want to collect would be copper. If we manage to find some copper, copper is usually on the surface and it's a green with copper tin. So if we just carefully observe the materials, all of the materials are within the walking distance of the initial capsule, so you want to get right in. By the way, Stationeers is a fun survival game that pits you against the harsh realities of Mars, elements, and most importantly your own stupidity. Now, that game you will die because you have forgotten a crucial step. And it's actually kind of fun, you die in all hilarious ways, but we're gonna try and avoid that in this playthrough, shall we? And this will also serve as a getting started guide to those of you who might find that Stationeers is a very, very brutal start. Trust me, this is the normal start. Brutal, it truly is brutal. I'm gonna get to that at some point, but this time, yes, we have found gold. Now gold is, as you can see, grayish, extra shiny with some gold tint. And for the gold you don't need a lot. I think you can get away with 10, maybe 20. I don't think you even need more. And on the way back we're going to be picking up a little bit of silicone, which is this white, grayish, pure white. Don't mistake it for ice. Ice is pure white and shiny. This is grayish and a little bit of cracked. So silicone is important for building rubber, plastics, and all that kind of things. As said, probably we're not going to use any materials right now, so you don't need to worry if you miss something out. The key is that it doesn't take very long. As you can tell, it took us roughly 1.5–2 minutes, and we're going to go immediately back to our lander. Now, as you can tell, we have 2 parts. Left is the capsule. To the right is the lander with the initial building material. So now I'm just trying to figure out which way is the sign pointing, just because it rises on that side and it's going to be setting on the other, so you can understand what directions to put your base in. Now, all the things that we have just harvested, yeah, you're going to want to put them away. So we're going to swap once again the belt, tool belt, with the actual belt. And you can actually drag and drop while you're holding Alt. So now I'm going to open my tool belt by pressing 6. And you're looking for this yellow crate that's on top. While holding the wrench in hand, you press left click this crate, so you have dislodge it from its current seating. Now, there is a ticking timer that you might not be aware about. Mars has atmosphere and it has dust storms, meaning at some point a dust storm is gonna come and it's gonna blow your lander away. So you want to be making sure that all of the relevant materials have been used and securely stowed, and it doesn't involve me flapping this thing like a wet noodle. So we're gonna be swapping things, and I'm alt dragging directly from the inventory to the slot. We're gonna take some iron frames, which we just took. We're gonna be, if you just place one on top of the other, you can actually stack them. So this is the way to get 30 iron frames. Then by holding Alt, I'm gonna drag the iron sheets in the inventory. We want to be replacing the cartridge with some iron frames. Then we have the silicone sheets. Then we have the plastic sheets, which we're putting. And I'm just swapping them out for the items that I currently don't need. I don't need the pill, I don't need the electronics boards and all that kind of thing. Now, if you swap and put your iron frames in your hand, and then left click, you're gonna start with the right click and you're gonna start building. The idea is that to build a platform, but we're not gonna go with 2x3 platform as it says in the tutorial. We're gonna go with a 5x4, I think. And here, oh, oops, I have constructed one frame too much. Now, these frames, when they're constructed one beside the other, they can actually be airtight. So they will be holding atmosphere if you weld them twice. We're gonna get to that. At the point, now, if you make a mistake like I did, you want to be using the angle grinder, which is the tool, and then you once again come up with the frame and you're building. So this will be a doorway where it will be our future airlock. And I'm placing, so if you by any means, like me, fall through the elements, you can actually press J and jetpack above it, or you can walk right on these beams. But as you can see, I'm extremely clumsy in terms of walking this area. Yeah. Okay, so the main base, which will be pressurized, should be, in theory, 3x4. And I'm just pressing jetpack, make sure that I do build this 3x4. Currently we are at 3x3, and now we're gonna go 3x4. So once I place all the frames, we're gonna start welding them. For that, we're gonna be using the welder tool. Okay, now this is good enough. So we have placed all the frames. So what you want to do, you want to take iron sheets in your one hand, and you want to take the welder tool, which is this guy, and then right click. Right click will enable the tool, and you want to weld each of the frames twice. Once means you can stand on it, twice means it's airtight. So if you remember, this is gonna area that's gonna be pressurized. So first step one is we're building our shelter, and that's exactly what we're doing. Step two will be we will be powering it. So building our shelter is basically just constructing iron frames and making sure everything is airtight. Now the main two cubes, okay, the sun will be setting soon, so I guess we can actually, let's weld this one. This needs to be airtight. Now these two guys I'm not gonna yet make airtight, so I can better see through them. The ones in front of the airlock you don't need airtight, so you only want to be welding once. Okay, so this will be a little bit of entrance into the base, if you will. Now, speaking about that, I'm gonna put a couple more frames, so one frame above and one frame further in. This is gonna be helping us build our airlock. I'm gonna also expand a little bit the base so it's easier to walk through, and then we will have more place to put stuff. So yeah, that's also something that I plan to do. Right, now, let's put a couple more frames so that we don't fall through the terrain at this point. Yeah, there we go. Fine, this is too small of a piece to fall through the terrain. Now, let's weld those things, because ultimately you want to get rid of those frames, or at least place them in a good spot. So we're gonna be welding once. These things don't need to be airtight yet. We just need to be able to stand on them. So we're gonna be welding those frames. There we go. All of them want to be welded once, including this one at the entrance. And the ones that are above, we want to weld them 2 times so that they're airtight. Okay, so now we're going to be creating the encasing for the base, which will be hopefully pressurized in the future. And that we're going to be doing with an iron wall. So you take an iron wall and then insert and home page up can actually rotate the field, and mouse wheel allows you to select a different type of block. So we're going to be placing what we call an iron window, and we're placing it on the outer wall. So here we are at the end, so I'm going to be pressing delete, which helps me rotate this windows. And once again pressing delete, so it's on the outer bank. There we go. Perfect. There we go, all of them are set up, and now I press home, which will place it above. Because remember, we need to be placed, and this needs to be airtight, so all the angles need to be collected. Oh, did I place one too high? Yes, I did. Of course I did. Okay. Oh, and I placed one outside. Well, I'll show you how to get rid of them anyway. It's hard when it's kind of dark. Let's go a little bit further out, and we want to be covering the entirety of the area with the windows. Why windows? Because we want the sun to get in for the photosynthesis for the hydroponics that we'll be going to do later. Now let's remove this guy. You take a jetpack, go up, and I think you need to put the angle grinder. There we go. That removes one iron window, and there's the one sticking out. We're going to remove that one as well. And then you just kill the jetpack, you're back in. Fine. Now, to weld these windows, first you need iron sheets to correct the framing, so the frame needs to be hardened. And we're going to be taking the iron sheet in our hand, there we go, and just left clicking until you will notice that the area has been properly sheeted by the screws in the corner of the window. You will notice when it's not sheeted, there are no screws, but when it's sheeted, the screws are there. So pay attention to that detail because it will tell you if you have missed a spot. Alright, and apparently I ran out of sheets, but you have another sheets in the crate. So you see, rather than me running to the lander, this is the reason why I brought the crate nearby, so it's easy for me to collect those. Now let's go to the sheets, click, click. You can also see it's a little bit thicker. The power trick is to get in the corner where all four are joined, and then just clicking them until you get everything set up. See, that actually makes a lot quicker deployment. You just press them and make sure that they are correctly welded. Now we have two more. Once all of them are in place, remember we don't have yet the windows. This is just the sheeting. So now we have to take glass sheets. So I just double check that we have everything in place. Fine. Then I take glass sheets and then repeat the process. The glass sheets will put in the glass in between, and this will ensure that you cannot pass through it. There will be a fun test which you can conduct later, because if you pass through it and fall down, you have forgotten a sheet. Yeah. For example, you can see here, oh, we're missing screws, so I need to take out my iron sheet, and now I need to take the glass sheet. There we go. Now let's check the roofing. The roofing, we have 1, 2, and as you could tell by the screws, you will see the actual bars. It's kind of hard to tell because right now it's dark, but the bars will be present on the windows, and that's how you will know that you have put correctly all the glass panels. And also it won't be highlighting anymore. So iron window, and we just place everything there. I guess I placed this. Yeah, you can see the tiny stitches. So now I'm trying to walk outside of the window, and if I fall down, that will mean that I have forgotten a glass panel. All right, and I already checked everything above. So it's time that we start constructing the door and all the things that we need to construct. I mean, we're not constructing the door, we're constructing the doorway. So right now, the second step is powering the base. Step 1 is complete, the shelter is done. Now we have to make sure that we have power. And for that, we're going to be just illuminating this place a little bit, and I'm going to throw a couple of flares. You can right-click the flare to enable it, and then select it and press Q to drop it. Now, we no longer need this thing for building. We will need, however, electricity. There are additional two tools, the arc furnace and the auto lathe, but we're going to get to them later after we fix the electricity. So we just go back to our lander, and you're looking for a red crate. Survival supplies, not those. Electrical supplies. Yes, that's the one that we're looking for. So once again, grab a wrench in your hand, and left click, it falls on your head. Fortunately enough, you haven't been hit that hard. You're hard-headed. Yeah, and then use illumination that you have provided so you can get actually quite close to your base. Now this are electrical supplies, and they're going to be used to set up electricity around your base during even the first night. Yeah, I told you we're going to get you to a good start in 20 minutes. I intend to honor that promise. Now, you want to be picking up the kit solar panel, and that one we're going to be placing all the way up. So I'm enabling the jetpack, and I'm placing this on this bridge. Why, you might ask? Well, there are multiple reasons. We're not going to go into them, and you can actually have two versions. One is angled, which I think would be an even better one, but for the time being, since I don't know what's the sun's path, we're going to use the regular one. Now, we're going to be using the flat one. Come on, bear with me. And you want to be turning it so that this outlet is facing towards you. So you take another glass sheet, and which helps you to construct it. Now we need to cable it, and we need to provide cable all the way down to the door and to the airlock. So you take the cable coil, which is this red cables, into your hand, and then you right click to start building, and you rotate with the mouse wheel, and you can also press C so it aligns. Rotating the mouse wheel will be selecting which type of rope you're going to be using, while pressing the C will actually rotate it in multiple possible configurations. So we're going to go straight down here, and we're going to be building. Now we need the APU. The APU unit, Area Power Controller, or APC actually, we're going to be placing two. We want to have two separate circuits which will be powered by battery. One will be for the outdoor components, another one will be for the indoor. So this one will be for the outdoor. Well, let's place it, and we were going to place another one inside the airlock for the inner area control. There we go. Cool. Alright, now the idea is to connect them with the above wiring. So we're going to once again take the cable coil, and we're going to make sure that this one is stuck. Okay, there we go. Get it up, sunshine. There we go. Okay, and this one goes that way. And then we want to connect them together and connect them to the solar panel. So you roll the mouse by selecting another component, and if you need to splice them together, you need to have the scissors in or the clippers in the other hand, and you can just clip them together. This will not be possible if you don't have these special clippers in the other hand. Alright, so now everything is connected to the solar panel. The idea is that the solar panel will be providing the power and electricity to the both APCs, and each of them will contain a battery inside, which will be powering the rest of the components. So that's the idea. Now to open the APCs, you need to take the crowbar into your hand and open it. There we go. And then you want to be placing the battery inside, and the other battery inside here as well. Those will also act as a portable chargers, which is kind of important because this will be your primary means of survival for now. Speaking of the battery charger, you do want a dedicated battery charger, which we're going to be placing on the opposite wall. There we go. So this is sort of a preparatory thing for the airlock, which we're going to build probably within the confines of the next episode. Now, we want to be placing also some tooling. This will be powering the outer tools, and the outer tools will be mainly the arc furnace. Now we do want other machines that are basically 3D printers of different kinds, auto lathe, electrical printer, and the pipe bender, but those will be located within the base. The arc furnace, because it creates an exhaust gas which could accumulate and could explode, that one is going on the outside, so it gets vented into the atmosphere. There we go. So we have not yet powered. Observe that nothing is powered yet. We're just building those components. And here we have an auto lathe. Now auto lathe is also, think of it like a 3D printer of some sort. We're going to be picking it up, and we're going to be placing it inside of the airlock. So I'm going to just rotate it to make sure that the plugs, as you can see, are facing towards me, which means the input is on the left side and the output is on the right hand side. Good. Let's connect the power. So I'm pressing C to rotate and the mouse wheel to select the part. So I'm dragging it all the way to the airlock component. So now you will see why I didn't create the blocks below. So I could play electrician, of course. You can see I connect these electrical cables all the way. There we go, come on. We collect the electrical cables, and they need to go both to the airlock, and also they need to go, well, yeah, they're not going outside because then they would interfere with the other components. Cool. All right, so going from this perspective, we have to make sure that we connect this inner pipe or inner cable to the APU that we have just provided. And this will be done like this. We're going to select the triangle part, and now let's select the straight part, which we will be connecting to the APC with via the junction. So give me the straight one, and yeah, the lid is open, so that's how. If it's yellow, it means that it's connected. If it's green, it means it can be placed. If it's red, that means it can't be placed. So we're gonna go with, I'm trying to find the triangular one, and the sun is rising, which is beautiful. Come on, give me the triangular one. Yeah, that one. Okay. And that one is going to get placed like this. One side is going to go towards the door, another will be connecting the auto lathe and everything else in between. Right. Okay, I need to make circle. I don't want to be wasteful with my cables. In the beginning you don't have that much, so yeah, okay. So now if you observe, everything is connected. The only thing which remains is to build my auto lathe, and that's something that...
Power low.
Power low, yeah, of course it's power low. Oh well, maybe that's something that we should be taking care of within the confines of the next one, but look. If you have the battery here in the APC, you can just drag it in your inventory and it will swap the batteries. The power low battery is going to get charged from the solar panel, while the full battery is already inside. And there you go. That's how you actually manage to build a fully functioning base that will be continuing in the next episode. Guys, if you have appreciated this episode and would like to see more, do let me know in the comments below. Now, with that said, press a like, and I'm going to be seeing you in the next episode, where I will be focusing on the airlock, pressurization, and much more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.